Hello and welcome. I just wanted to put out this quick video about the latest release of liveNX. So I'm here on the cloudkeys.liveaction.com/download site. This is where you can see all the different releases that are available. We're really just concerned with the most recent one. So here's the global links to like release notes, etc. When we look at release notes, it takes us to this page. And you can see the most recent one is highlighted. Go back here, the what's new features. You've got things like site grouping, roll up. Notice the site collapse levels, which is interesting. So you can basically kind of virtually zoom in while staying at the same zoom level. So you can, and it'll graph it more granularly, basically. Next is the X and Y zoom. Before we could just do X zoom, you could zoom in along the time axis, but you couldn't zoom in along the Y axis, whatever data set you're looking at. So that could be useful, especially if you're trying to look for tiny variations and there are multiple items on a graph. Now the next one, device entity page customizations. This is actually pretty exciting. So let me pivot over to my own lab instance and show you what this is. So when we're looking at device entity pages, we're going to go to entity page reports. Got devices and sites. There's devices, and you see how I've actually customized this. You know, it used to have top applications inbound, top applications outbound, top conversations inbound, outbound separated. And I was like, no, I don't want that. So I customized it to make it both ways on the same graph. Additionally, too, let's see what happens. Add new report. And you see, I was expecting to see other things available in here. So apparently you can't use just any old report, but I think that you can get at least some interesting stuff in here. Applications. Application is already available, so I'm not too excited about that. So I'll have to see how they intended to implement this, because this is not what I expected. If we look here, you see we should have like custom, and maybe it's the fact that I don't have any custom flow reports in here. So initially I thought we could use any report. Now I realize it's just basically some reports that they define as well as custom reports that you define. Custom reports is a place I don't go into very often because I don't generally need to, but it could be useful for these device entity pages. We look at the sites just to see if there's anything different. And you see default, flow. It looks like we could have custom available if it existed, because it looks similar to the device page. So if that's something that interests you, take a look at that. Otherwise, let's keep moving on. Enhanced Aruba Silver Peak supports. This just gives you app performance flow. It looks like similar to AVC or any latency statistics that a packet capture appliance would give to you. Gigamon, it now interprets the RTT metric. I think they were there all the time. It just, they didn't have a way to draw it out and display it. When utilization story, not too big a deal. You can now filter on business hours. Finally, the alert notes editor. This is actually interesting. Let's go and see what this exactly means. So I've got this alert, and I can put a note on it, right? We save it. Window closes. We go back in, and it's just here. So this is a rough implementation, obviously, because you look and there's no hint of that first test note. Now that being said, if you want to audit this, if for some reason you want to go back and investigate the historical notes that have been on a particular alert, you can dig back into the file system. So I quickly SSH'd into my server here. You see we're on version 23.4. And we go to data liveNX server data log. And when we look in here, I haven't cleaned this up, so we've got different versions in here. But we're going to be looking for the 23.4 REST API log. So let me just ls grep REST API. Okay. So I'm going to less the REST API star 23.4 log. And now we have this giant thing. Luckily, the log restarted when I did this upgrade, so it's not going to be too big. And also, this isn't my production environment. Now, what I want to look for, I don't know if this is going to work. It probably will, though. But this is the alert ID up here. I'm going to search for that inside of this API log. And boom, we have that. So that was a put or note. So it noted us putting a note in there, but it doesn't tell us what it was. And it notes us putting another one in there. Okay, I just did a little work because I want to look at the actual server log, which is more verbose than the API log, see if we get anything out of it. So I took a second to clean up all the old version files that existed. And let's again search for that. There we go. So to audit past notes, we can see in the actual server log that we had a note, we had a second note. So this will just say, this is what the field says, this is what the field now says, etc., etc. So you can track the history of those things. So you can make a script, basically a search based off of the alert ID and get that out if you wanted to. So like I mentioned, I think this is a rough implementation, but it's something where before there was nothing. So next, we've got the actual release notes. Release information, build information, new features, enhancements. This really just restates the things that we just went through. Resolve customer issues can be interesting. Known issues, API update. Now, one thing I haven't noticed is there's a new message of the day functionality. So let me show you that. Settings, security, login, and then you now have a customizable message. So if I log out here, it shows up down here. I might personally prefer it being shown up at the top here, but again, this is a case of there's something where before there was nothing. So, you know, maybe there'll be some enhancements to that along the line, but it's at least something for compliance. And this is something that I can take to clients, etc. Say, hey, this exists, where before it didn't. So that about completes our summary of the 23.4 upgrade. If you have a server that you want to upgrade under the 23.4 releases, you've got the server and node upgrade packages. I'll go into that procedure at a later date and time. If you want to get a new one, then if you already have your cloud keys liveaction.com, just download the image for the hypervisor of your preference. The custom, large, medium, small, these don't really make too much of a difference. If you can do it, then you can do it. And if you don't have any of this and you're curious about liveNX, just Google liveNX. The first few results are just ads, unfortunately. Just scroll down, liveNX. And there's a free trial. You get, I think, 2 weeks. Oh, JK. 30 days. Let's put your information in here. Start my trial. I think you'll either get an immediate link to download or you'll get it emailed to you. Download it, put it inside your hypervisor of choice. Good to go. So we'll have more content on standing up liveNX, etc. in the future. But until next time, I appreciate your attention and I hope you have a good day.